guys, hope y'all are doing well. We are still looking at Jonah and comparing it to our own lives. So let's get started, okay? Making an eternal mark on earth should be our most important goal, because God is not only the headliner of Jonah's story, but he's also the title character of yours as well. As long as you view him as significant, you'll think his plans for you are too. Giving God a position of significance, the primary role in your daily living, is of great importance. This means more than simply receiving him as Savior. In the tale of your life unfolding right now, he, not you, must be the one in the spotlight. Your life involves you, but it is not ultimately about you. Knowing this allows you to be more willing to relinquish control over your life and yield to the divine intervention. Jonah is a picture of a person who serves God and yet still seeks to hold the title role in his story. He had been given the gift of prophecy and was willing to use it as long as he could do it in a place and among the people he desired. As soon as God's will led Jonah outside of the comfort zone, he opted out. Jonah had done what we often do: take ownership of that which we've only been asked to manage. Note that God didn't change what he wanted Jonah to do. Jonah was still called to declare God's message. God just altered where and whom Jonah was to do it. When God asserted his role of owner of the gift he'd given Jonah, the prophet, he couldn't take it. The same often happens to us as well. We receive a gift from God, a call to ministry, or a spiritual gift to edify his body, and subconsciously take owner of it. We become upset when God tells us to use it in a way that we hadn't planned. Walking fully in God's plans for your life that are intertwined with his purposes for humanity hinges on whether you buy into the fact that you are his and have a purpose you might not fully comprehend by using only our human brains. You were created with specific intention and recreated at the moment of your salvation with specific attention to detail, so that you would be equipped to walk in the plans God mapped out for you along the way and long ago. You cannot reach complete satisfaction in life apart from your decisions to engage in his predetermined plans. For Jonah and for us, this means giving him the position of prominence in our lives and restructuring our plans so that we can partner with him. Your life is God's story being told and his character being displayed. How does your life read? What is your life telling others about the God that you serve? And as a result of your decisions, do they get to see Jesus displayed in his best light? That gives you something to think about. Just as we can see God clearly through Jonah's story, God can and will be seen in ours. As we surrender to divine interventions or not, each chapter of our lives puts God on display. We can see many characteristics of God in each chapter of Jonah. In chapter 1 of Jonah, we see that God is sovereign. In chapter 2 of Jonah, we see God is our deliverer. In chapter 3 of Jonah, we see God is merciful. And in chapter 4 of Jonah, we see God is righteous. When you consider all the reasons why God's plan didn't make sense, you might feel justified in running away. That kind of deception is typical of our hearts and minds. God's plans for us are so overwhelmingly beyond anything that we can ever imagine that our feelings or abilities to reason His directives cannot be the determining factor for choosing obedience, making sense of what God has asked, or feeling compelled to cooperate cannot be the reason for choosing obedience. His word must be enough. In Jonah chapter 2, verse 9, it says, "But I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. That which I have vowed I will pay. Salvation is from the Lord." Many people believe that the message of the book of Jonah to Israel hinges on this very verse. As Jonah soaked in the gastric fluids and rotting foods in the fish's belly, he most likely drifted in and out of consciousness. In those moments, I believe he realized how much trouble following his good senses had gotten him into. Now he recognized that salvation, which means continued deliverance and sure victory, could only come to those who are yielded to God. Those yielded to Him even when the directives don't make sense and even when difficulty is encountered. Rest in the knowledge that they are safeguarded by Him. Engaging in God's will is not always comfortable or convenient, but it is worth it. And that's all I have for you today. I love you guys. We'll continue in the book of Jonah. I have lots of information and I have quite a bit on Jonah. So I'm working on another couple of videos, maybe 3 or 4. But as always, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, like, share, and subscribe. And yes, the 3 or 4 are still in Jonah, so maybe more. So let me know in the comments if you want me to continue in the book of Jonah. And if this is helping you, if it's helping you, please let me know. Please keep your comments polite, courteous, godly, edifying, please. I love you all. And if I don't see you in the next video, I hope to see you in heaven. Bye, guys.